Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Um, Guys, I've heard some really crazy news. And in the world of boxing, there's a lot of crazy news, rumors circulating around. And it's some news you hear and it gets you off guard. It gets you surprised. And in the world of boxing, you should never be surprised because we've seen crazy things happen in the world of boxing consistently for years. I've heard this rumor circulating. I actually had someone bring it up yesterday. I don't know whether it was the Brotherhood or I don't know who it was, but somebody brought up this rumor yesterday. And I have actually seen now Keith Thurman talk about it. Apparently, there is rumors that Gervonta Davis, I want to know if you guys have heard this as well. Gervonta Davis may move up to welterweight and fight Keith Thurman. Now, that news to me is shocking. That news to me is staggering. That news to me is out of the blue. Because I would not expect Keith Thurman to be fighting Gervonta Davis. I certainly wouldn't expect Gervonta Davis to move up. Now, I don't know whether, again, it's one of those calculated risk moves from Gervonta Davis. And I don't see the point of it. There's top guys at 135 that want to fight Davis. There's guys at, 140 that Davis can fight, like Josh Taylor. What is the purpose behind him moving up to and fighting Keith Thurman? The only thing that I can think of, Mayweather said that Gervonta Davis is only going to fight in-house fighters. Now, Keith Thurman's an in-house fighter because with PBC's with Al Heyman. So it makes sense from what Mayweather said at the last fight when he fought Barrios that we're only going to fight PBC fighters. So from that sense, it makes sense. However, Keith Thurman's not a champion at welterweight. So again, he'd be fighting another guy that's not a top guy. Now, there's also guys like Ugas. There's also guys like Errol Spence. Now, I know Gervonta Davis and Errol Spence are close. So I don't know whether that fight would happen anyway. But regardless, the fact is that he'll be fighting another guy at a weight class, which here's the thing. This, even though Keith Thurman isn't a champion, this would be a serious fight for Tank to take. And even though Thurman isn't a champion, he's still very dangerous for someone like Gervonta Davis, who's really a 130 pounder, 135 pounder. He's not even a big 135 pounder. Keith Thurman's a big welterweight. So if Gervonta Davis was to take that fight, he's got cojones. He's got a heart to take a fight like that because Gervonta Davis will be dwarfed in the ring, and also Keith Thurman is massive. And Keith Thurman is a power puncher. He can punch. Very explosive puncher. And Gervonta Davis said he was worried about Barrios' punching power because he was big. So I don't know whether these are just rumors circulating because I just don't see how, if he was troubled by Barrios, someone like Keith Thurman, who's a far better fighter, far more skilled, far better boxer, a bigger puncher, I just don't know how Gervonta Davis would handle that, to be honest. And that's what I mean. It'd be a very, you could say, ballsy move from Gervonta Davis. And that would be a proper fight where if he goes up there and beats Keith Thurman, he deserves credit. The problem is, I would like to see Gervonta Davis fight Josh Taylor. The problem is Josh Taylor's not with PBC. So that's another thing you've got to take into consideration. Mayweather said that we're not going to be fighting other guys from other networks, which is really wrong and really bad because we need to see the best fight the best. I would love to see Gervonta Davis fight Josh Taylor, but you'd have to say fighting Keith Thurman is an even more dangerous fight. Keith Thurman's bigger than Josh Taylor. He's a bigger puncher than Josh Taylor. Many would say a better boxer than Josh Taylor. He's far bigger puncher. And he was a unified champion at 147. I just think that would be... If Tank takes that fight, wow. All I got to do is salute because that is a very dangerous fight. Very dangerous fight. And like I said, you've got to give Tank a lot of credit. I know a lot of you have been giving Tank a lot of criticism. A lot of you have been saying, well, Tank doesn't take the big fight. If he does take this fight, which, again, if he does take it, because like I said to you, the Barrios fight, that guy was big. And Gervonta Davis, out of his own mouth, said, I didn't want to get caught because he was a big guy and I was worried about taking his power. Imagine what it would be like of Keith Thurman, who's bigger, who's stronger. Might not be taller in height, but he's bigger. He's a bigger frame. He's a bigger puncher. And he'd be dwarfing Gervonta in there. Now, I don't know whether they think it's a calculated risk because Keith Thurman's not what he was. And Keith Thurman is also very vulnerable. Do they think Gervonta Davis's punching power could get to Thurman? I just don't know whether his punching power would go up to 147. I just don't think his punching power would go up to 147. I don't know whether he could trouble Keith Thurman. Remember, Gamboa nearly went the distance. And he was on one leg. He almost went the distance. What makes you think that he'll be able to trouble Keith Thurman, who's a big welterweight, with his punching power? I don't know. Some people think Josh Taylor's too big for Gervonta Davis. Keith Thurman's bigger than Josh Taylor. He's stronger than Josh Taylor. He punches harder than Josh Taylor. You know, Keith Thurman is no joke. So I would have to say that if Gervonta Davis does this, and he goes up there and beats Keith Thurman, he's definitely putting himself on the pound-for-pound list. He's definitely putting himself on the pound-for-pound list. Because to go up that much in weight, like I said, I think Gervonta Davis will be moving up probably 2 or 3 weight classes for his, what I think is his natural weight. And remember, he's only had one fight at 140. It's not like he's been at 140 for a period of time. Jumping up weight classes like that, you know, and even though Keith Thurman might not be the best at 147 now, the difference from 140 and 147, even the best guys, like if Taylor's the best, Taylor might go to 147. He might not even be he won't even be in the top 6 or 7. There's probably 6 or 7 guys that could beat him at welterweight. This is what I'm saying. And Gervonta Davis hasn't even fought the best at 140. So what you've got to understand, moving up to 147, Keith Thurman always said something which I agree with, that a lot of fighters move up and down a weight, but eventually they hit a wall. And majority of the time when they hit that wall, the smaller fighters, it's the 147 division, and it's true. There's many guys that are great 140s, great 135s, that go up from 130 to 135 to 140 and have successful reigns. You know, look at De La Hoya, a great example. Went up to 147, wasn't as successful. It was a lot harder. That's when you hit your wall. The 147 division, firstly, over the years has been glittered with talent. Glittered with talent. And not just that. Those guys are big and strong up there. You know, some of those guys are really, really big and they're boiling down from a heavy weight. Like we know Errol Spence comes down from 170. And at welterweight, over the years, it's always been a great division. There's always been glittered with talent and very skilled fighters over the years. There've always been great fighters in the welterweight division. The welterweight division has never been like, oh, it's been weak. It's always strong. Consistently, there's always talent. There's always great fighters coming through in the welterweight division. It's just one of those divisions that's always glittered with talent. You go back 10 years, you go now, you go 50. Welterweight division is always glittered with talent. Always got great fighters in there. And even like Keith Thurman, if you were to say he's a top 5 welterweight, which is debatable, because personally I would say it's Spence, Pacquiao, Crawford. Then you could probably go. You probably put Thurman in there, but you could probably easily say Sean Porter beats Thurman now. You know, Thurman might not be that same guy. And there's Jaron Boots Ennis, who probably beats him. Porter could probably beat Thurman now. So again, Keith Thurman, is he a top 5 welterweight? Possibly, on his past achievements. But Gervonta Davis moving up from lightweight, which he really is moving up from lightweight, and even he's not even fought the best at lightweight. He's not even fought the best at 130, really. He's not even fought the best at 140. To move up and fight Keith Thurman, that would be crazy. Because Keith Thurman, let's be honest, will wipe the floor with anyone from 140. Keith Thurman will beat Josh Taylor. And he's the best at 140 for me. If Keith Thurman is Keith Thurman, I'm saying he's not shot to pieces, not fought for 2 years. If Keith Thurman is even 90% or 85% for me, he would beat Josh Taylor. Right? So then it comes to, how is a guy that I don't think even beats Josh Taylor and Gervonta going to beat Keith Thurman, who's a very good boxer and a big puncher? So is it them taking a calculated risk and thinking Thurman's vulnerable and Gervonta Davis is power? Because I think Thurman could outbox Gervonta Davis. And I think he could hurt him. So I don't know whether this is a wise move at all, because Keith Thurman's not just a very good puncher. He's also a very good boxer. He's also got great feet. I think they're taking a calculated risk that Thurman's vulnerable to the body, and he's vulnerable and he can be hurt. But again, is Gervonta Davis's power going to move up to 147? I don't know. Again, this may just be a wild rumor, but I've heard this now spoken about, and it may just be a rumor circulating. It may not be true. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is going to come off? Do you think that Tank would actually move up to 147? I think that would be crazy. That would be crazy. And that would be, like I said, a very, very brave move from Gervonta Davis. And that would, for me, put Gervonta Davis on another level if he can go up there and win. Put him on the... It definitely becomes a top 10 pound for pound for me. Regardless if there's any belts on the line. I don't care. Because Thurman's dangerous. And for him to move up that much weight to fight Keith Thurman, who's a top... Oh, that would be a great, great move from Tank. Great, great move. If he can pull that off. I don't know whether he will, and I don't know whether... But then again, the problem is with Tank Davis, with what Mayweather said, that we're only going to fight PBC fighters. There isn't much option. There isn't much option for Tank. So this may have to be the next fight, because who else are they going to keep digging out from PBC? PBC haven't got all... Like, if you look at the top fights at 135, Devin Haney, I know he's a free agent, so he could potentially do a deal with PBC. They've got Ryan Garcia's with DAZN, right? Teofimo's with ESPN. Josh Taylor's with ESPN. So Keith Thurman is with PBC, so it makes sense, but it's just... I just think it's very risky. Very, very risky. And I don't know whether he wins that fight. Like, fair play. If this fight comes off, fair play to Gervonta for taking on this challenge. But I'm not sure. You know, what do you guys think? Have you heard anything about it? Do you think this is true? Do you think this is not true? Do you think this will happen? Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.